The New York Rangers lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets by a score of 5-1. I don't love how the Rangers have started out this season, and I feared this as far as I just feel like battle level isn't quite there. What set the Rangers apart last year, obviously, we know that there's a ton of talent on this team. That can't be questioned. But I felt like the Rangers, there was a chip on their shoulder last year. Gallant first year, felt like they had something to prove. This year, Lightning game one was good. Lightning game one was good. You could argue that since then, really hasn't been great. Really. Like, that was a one-off. And then everything since then has been, I know they had the scoring, feast versus Minnesota. But, yeah, I mean, you look back at that now, Minnesota's had their struggles. So I don't know. And this wasn't like the Shark game, which again, that's a game that you gotta come up with 2 points against the San Jose Sharks. That is one of the worst teams in the league. And Columbus, while that's a team that I think will trend up, they were coming off of a tough loss the night before against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And you wouldn't have really known that. The Rangers, Columbus kind of stuck with them. They really did. The Rangers should have been the fresher team. They didn't look like it. And the only goal the Rangers score is on a 5-on-3. It's the only goal they score. Now, goaltending was key. Give Tarasov credit. Tarasov gets his first NHL win and looked good. Yaroslav Halak did not look good. I thought against Winnipeg, he certainly gave the Rangers a chance to win, but Halak, I don't know. He could be done. It was a struggle last year with Vancouver. Yaroslav Halak, look, he's 37 years old. Let's see how this goes. I'm not convinced that Yaro Halak is definitely going to be your backup goalie throughout the rest of the season. Now, I'm not saying Louis Domingue is the answer. He is an intriguing number 3 goalie. I mean, as a backup, I don't love it. But Halak, not good. Goal 2, Andrew Peake's goal was really bad. And even Shittikov's goal, the third goal, good shot, but, beat him clean. So Halak struggled in this one. He's part of the problem. He's part of it. I think that there's really bad depth on this Ranger team. The team that ended last year had a lot more depth. Those deadline acquisitions helped balance out the lineup. I mean, you're in a position where, you have to play one of Ryan Reeves and Ryan Carpenter. Jimmy Vesey was out there scratching out. Jimmy Vesey has not really been great, after a pretty good preseason. Jimmy Vesey's been, nothing special. That's for sure. And to make matters worse, Philip Chytil leaves the game tonight early. It's second shift of the game, his first shift. An innocent-looking play where Cole Sillinger, it's kind of a shoulder to the head. I don't think either of them really saw each other. It wasn't malicious by any means. It didn't look good. And one of those, and Chytil has an upper body injury. I mean, you're probably looking at a concussion there. So I don't know as far as Philip Chytil coming back. That sucks. Chytil is a pretty big part of the team, and injuries have hurt him in his career. They have. There's been, where, especially early in the season, I think back to the 2021 season where he was off to a really good start, gets hurt last year, battled injuries as well, and struggles. So that sucks that Chytil gets hurt. You hope that he can make it through okay, but I would not really expect to see Phil Chytil this week. That's just my guess, but I wouldn't expect to see him. I think he'll be back eventually. It's not like it's something that should be long-term, but you're likely looking at a concussion. Maybe a neck injury, but I think in all likelihood this is a head injury. So, Rangers get off to a pretty good start. It wasn't as if Columbus outplayed them, but I still feel like the Rangers have a lot more to give. And speaking about that bad depth, the third pair is not good either. Zach Jones and Braden Schneider, it's not a good third pair. And our fourth line's not good. And they play them at the same time. I just don't for the life of me understand that. So the Rangers, there's power play opportunities that go unsuccessful in the second period, I should say. And then they actually do score on the 5-on-3. So I take that back. This was a lot of even strength play. But the Rangers have, opportunities, and Tarasov makes some good saves. Eventually, Zach Jones, I think, is probably most at fault for this goal, but Ryan Reeves kind of slips. I'm not a fan of Ryan Reeves. Like, I like the guy. But he's just not a good hockey player. And Zach Werenski scores his second goal of the season from Liam Foudy at 17:54. Jones kind of turns it over in the offensive zone and doesn't really do so well in the defensive zone either. And Columbus takes a 1-0 lead. I don't want Libor Hájek in there, but it speaks to the depth. There is no depth. Forward-wise, I think that there could be some reinforcements that maybe you could tap into in Hartford. Defensively, there isn't. So second period, Andrew Peak, bad goal by Halak, just squeaks by him. His first goal of the season from Roslovic and Voracek. And then at 9 minutes, it's a 3-0 lead for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Chytil from Foudy and Bean at 9 minutes. So 3-0 Blue Jackets. Then Columbus starts taking penalties. Goodbranson holds Panarin. Rangers don't score. Peak trips Blais. And then Gavrikov trips Zibanejad. And eventually on a turnover, Panarin, who continues, Artemi Panarin has been good. Defensively, it can always be better. And I don't know if he'll ever be quite 1920 Panarin defensively and just what he was doing there. But Panarin cuts the lead to 3-1. And the Rangers had some momentum. Ryan Lindgren takes a not-so-good penalty 49 seconds into the third. Cross-checks Johnny Gaudreau. There was a lot of changes that were made as well. Let's speak about this. Panarin, and I don't know what they'll start with next game. They might go back to the original, but Artemi Panarin moves up with Zibanejad and Kakko, and they move Kreider down with Trocheck and Lafreniere. Chris Kreider's game has not been great this season. I felt like he was unlucky early, which made a lot of posts, and it kind of things even themselves out, right? Last year everything was going in, and this year, it's not really going that way. But yeah, I felt like Chris Kreider. I need more from him. I've not liked what I've seen from Kreider, especially today. I just felt like he was off. And so, hopefully he can get going. But Kreider, moves down. They move Panarin up. There was some line juggling because, again, Chytil gets hurt. So, lines were not really set. So the Rangers do kill off that penalty by Lindgren. Rangers are, not getting a whole lot going in the third, I felt, where there was a lot going on in the second period. Rangers in the third, Columbus kind of shuts them down. And then eventually it's an Eric Robinson goal on a deflection. His first of the season from Goodbranson, shot by Goodbranson and Corrali. 14-13 gives it a 4-1 Columbus lead. And this is where, Braden Schneider, and, it wasn't a great shift by Braden Schneider. Jones and Schneider were on for that one, as well as, I believe, the fourth line. I know the fourth line was like -2. Reeves was a -2. Ryan Carpenter was a -2. Barclay Goodrow, who we saw on the fourth line at times, was a -2. And then Ken Johnson scores. The goals blend together at this point. Johnson scores. This is where Trouba, this actually might have been where the fourth line was on, possibly. Either way, Jacob Trouba roams way out of position. Johnson's wide open in front, scores from Voracek and Roslovic. And this is without Patrick Laine. I mean, I know they had Johnny Gaudreau, but Patrick Laine's out. And Tarasov really played well, but this is the Rangers' first divisional game, and they lose. So it wasn't as if, this wasn't like the Sharks, where I feel like that third period and overtime were like actually embarrassing. This wasn't so embarrassing, but it's like, it's got to be better. I feel like defensively the Rangers are lacking. And again, that depth is bad. The depth is like legit. Like, let's not make it seem like it's something that it isn't. It's bad. The fourth line isn't good. The third pair isn't good. And behind it, it's not like, oh, we can plug that. There isn't a whole lot of that going on. Really isn't. So Rangers appear to me to be a pretty top-heavy team. Look, you can, 2 pairs and 3 lines. You got that. And there's some things that can improve there. You do have that. But beyond that, if there's injuries, there's problems. So again, the Rangers lose and things won't get easier. And now I'm kind of hoping that if you're going to play a lock in this game, to me, then I hope that Igor plays against Colorado and the Islanders. That's my hope. Will it happen? I think it actually might. There's a couple of back-to-back. So there's a Tuesday, Wednesday, home against Colorado, at the Islanders back-to-back, and that will not be easy at all. At all. I think that if the Rangers can Let's put it this way: if the Rangers took 3 points out of 4 there, I'd be thrilled. That's not going to be easy. And then they have another back-to-back Saturday, Sunday at Dallas, who's been really good, and a not-so-good Coyote team. I guess if I had to track it and predict it, my hope is Igor plays against Colorado and the Islanders, then it's Igor versus Dallas, and then you get Halak versus the Coyotes. I think that's definite. I think you get Igor versus Dallas and Halak versus the Coyotes. But then as far as Colorado Islanders, they might split them up. But then why would you play Halak today? So that doesn't make sense to me. So we'll see what they do there. Philip Chytil hurt. Rangers lose 5-1 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Their record is now 3-2-1, and I really want to see improvement from the Rangers.